Hey there, Bear Club! At the Mama Bear Initiative, we explore how to protect ourselves so we can protect our cubs, the people who depend on us. Join us and get the confidence you need to stay safe, make good choices, and protect yourself and those you care about. Let's go!
Okay, so hello and welcome back to the Mama Bear Initiative podcast. I'm Stephanie Dunham.
I'm Evelyn Mason.
I'm Richelle Knapp.
We are back in the saddle
Yeah.
after a long hiatus. Yeah. And we've been doing a lot of work to figure out what we're supposed to be doing with this podcast because we want it to be successful.
Yep.
And it hasn't been because for whatever reason it's not been successful. We are hoping that you guys might find this topic that we're going to talk about more interesting and more helpful, which is we're going to start just talking about our trauma recovery out loud.
Yeah.
We're all in trauma recovery and we're all, working through things, and oftentimes our triggers and whatnot get in the way of daily life and our relationships together, and we sometimes have to talk about it, troubleshoot, and I'm listening to these conversations we're having and trying, I'm like, wow, these are really great conversations. We should
Definitely.
do this out loud. So that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Yeah, because we had been basically sitting down on a Saturday after our morning class and just talking about, well, how's your week been? How are you doing? Kind of like a check-in.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, maybe we can invite you guys into our.
Is there a fan or something running?
I have my air conditioner running.
It's very loud. I can hear it. Somebody, are you running yours, Richelle?
No, mine's off.
Okay. Yeah, you might need to turn yours off.
Okay, it'll be fine. Yeah, it's a really good air conditioner, but it's loud.
They're all loud.
Yeah.
I think that's the nature of air conditioners, to be loud, but keep your room cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm going to turn on a little light here because,
okay.
Yeah, my face looks a little yellow.
You jaundiced?
God, I hope not.
So
I don't need more time in the hospital, thank you.
Seriously.
So I decided to plus up my my blush a little bit by using a little bit of this lipstick, and suddenly I had these rouge cheeks. So if I look a little red, I'm not flushed. I'm just a little over blushed.
A little over blushed.
I can't tell it. I mean, it looks fine.
Good. Oh, in person, it's quite the sight.
There we go.
Oh,
now I look pale like a ghost.
But you don't look yellow.
Yeah, I gotta put my glasses on to see the intensity. Here we go. Try to turn it down a little bit. There we go.
Yo, it's better. You. Welcome back.
Now I don't look jaundiced.
Or ghostly.
Or ghostly.
Oh my.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so now we're live recording. Not live, but like
recording. Yep.
We're recording. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had therapy today and talked a good bit about my food addiction and disordered eating. And it was good, but as usual, it's kind of intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I made a reel. It ended up being like almost 5.5 minutes long.
Wow.
About what my therapist said to me. Yeah. So I don't know. Been struggling today with eating, and as soon as I feel the slightest bit of like, ah,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty, I'm calling it being spooked. I'm pretty easily spooked. Like the thoughts, feelings, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of going on inside, a lot.
Yeah.
And when that occurs, I'm looking around for treats,
Yeah.
to to temporarily feel better. I mean, therapist pretty much said this may never really go away. It might be a lifelong problem,
Mm.
but we can try to work to decrease vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Okay. That's hopeful.
And I was like, what's a vulnerability? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, uh, doing things like going to the gym, going to the doctor, eating well, doing activities, reading, researching, learning, blah, blah, blah. Spend lots of time on YouTube, listening to the experts talk about my problems, trying to figure out where they come from and why they're here and what to do about it. Um,
You
can't
already
say
do a
that
lot of
it's
that.
what's that?
You do a lot of that already.
Well, I'm saying that that's what I'm doing already.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
It's part of the decreasing vulnerabilities thing, I guess.
Oh, okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So, anyway.
I think the hardest thing in feeling, I was thinking about what we've been hearing with from Tim Fletcher, and the thing about the temporarily satisfying, they're trying to temporarily satisfy your limbic brain when you're dealing with trauma. And that's such a pattern I see a lot in my own life, other people's lives that I don't know personally, but I see it. And it's so true. We're trying so hard to run away from the pain.
How do you
And
know
it's
how do you know the person you don't know is in that pattern?
because a lot of them, the ones I'm speaking of specifically, are addicts, and they have marks on them that indicate that, and just the way that they talk and that sort of thing. It's indicative of addiction. Having grown up with an addict, I know the signs, and it's just I'm talking about a specific group of people that I see, and that's a pretty extreme example though, because I think day to day we all have the same want or desire to temporarily satisfy ourselves, our limbic brain, as opposed to just trying to heal from your trauma. I was thinking about that a lot today, and how difficult it is to make that transition. Something I
And
just now. Go ahead.
I was gonna say our limbic brain is the inner parts that are basically the alarm system, right?
Yeah.
Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
amygdala, et cetera, in the middle of inside the center of the brain,
Yes.
and that part is constantly going off for people like us.
Yeah.
It's like a low level hum, annoying, like a fire alarm that's going ee.
Yeah. I thought of that, what you said, low level hum, and it gets louder
Yeah.
sometimes. Sometimes it gets softer. Yes.
But it's always there at some level.
Yeah. Never really goes away. Not entirely, at least. And I think I spent the majority of my life trying to get rid of it. And then finally, my sister Stephanie told me that you can't get rid of it. It's just going to be there for the rest of your life. And that's just the way it is. And so coming to a place of acceptance is really tough to do.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like hopeless about it, but it's just, I don't know. I felt like for a lot of years I felt convinced that I could be completely 100% free. And 35 years later, and I'm still like chest deep in the mud of anxiety.
Yes.
And I feel like, my therapist was kind of saying like you can work to decrease what's going on so that you're not constantly trying to, you know, uh, manage your symptoms with food or whatever it is you do for that. So that, it's just it's like a a moment by moment thing I'm going to have to work out, and I'll get better at it as I go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Yeah.
never, it's probably never going to go away. And like
Yeah.
Richelle was
Right.
saying, got to be okay with that. Otherwise, I can't make progress.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I know at first blush it may seem kind of like hopeless knowing that this will always be there. But to be honest, with myself, it's always been there.
Right.
And at a certain level, I tried to stuff my feelings away. And then I didn't feel anything. Not good, not terrible, and I'll share more
Mm-hmm.
about that in a little bit. But um, in a way, it's a relief knowing, okay, I don't have to fight this. Fighting it is exhausting. Or
Mm-hmm.
a misplaced hope of, wishful thinking, pie in the sky. Maybe there'll be some magic cure out there. Get the right prayer, the right medicine, the right,
Mm.
supplement, enough exercise, or a certain kind of exercise, or maybe it's meditation, and to understand, okay, so this has always been with me. It'll always be with me. Maybe I can learn to live with it and diminish and do
Yeah.
all those things. Because fighting it, for one thing, it's exhausting, like I said. For another thing, it's pointless. Just makes
Yes.
things worse.
Very
And I
pointless.
found that trying to make it better by just not feeling anything makes for a really blah existence, Plus,
Yes.
the feelings want to be felt.
That's true.
So it's, that there's only so long that I could maintain that, not trying not to feel anything.
Yeah, because essentially we've talked about this a lot. We're trying to numb out. That's
Hmm.
really what we're trying to do. Try to numb our feelings temporarily,
Right.
or numb from them, or whatever, however you want to put
Yeah.
it.
Oh, goodness.
And so, although I don't really struggle with addiction, I do struggle with trying to just escape. If I could just get away. And I guess, a lot of times that can lead to addiction, addictive ways to escape. But just trying to get away, trying to run away, trying to avoid, trying to procrastinate.
Now, when you say you don't struggle with addiction, what do you mean? Because I would say trying to numb out the way that you do is addiction.
Hmm.
What do you mean by that?
I guess when I think of addiction, I think of I was going to say basically what I just described. I think more in terms of like using social media or sex or drugs or alcohol to try to ease the pain in a way that becomes
Do you think
harmful to your health and relationships.
do you think it has to be a substance?
No, I guess you could be addicted to just about anything, so probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe that's part of realizing where I am, is do I actually have addictions? Am I addicted to avoidance or I don't even know.
It could be. I mean, sometimes it feels better to be anxious than not. It's
Wow.
almost like an addictive thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because that's what normal feels like.
Right, but when I seek out anxiety as a comfort to
Mhm.
myself, like I feel anxious regardless of what's
Mhm.
going on. Like doesn't matter what's going on. I joke around and say, you pick some random thing, I can find a reason to be nervous or upset about it or anxious about it.
Right.
Like I can just do that. But sometimes I feel like it's easier to feel anxious not because it's normal, but because it's more comforting.
Mm.
Because it's
Yeah.
something it's a feeling of control
Yes.
Mm.
that
That's
I
true.
have about like whatever it is I'm anxious about, or whatever's happening, I feel scared of. My anxiety allows me to sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes be in control of myself.
Yeah.
And that feels like addictive behavior. So, yeah, I mean, the big ones are drugs, alcohol, and food, but it doesn't mean, and I guess to some degree, technology or social media or whatever, but I also think it can be other things.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've definitely sought out anxiety as a comfort myself for that false sense of control.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You know, and it's hard to realize and accept that you can't control it,
Mm-hmm.
whatever's going on usually. Um, and that when you become, if I become comforted by anxiety, that's the same thing as, you know, doing
Mm-hmm.
drugs or whatever in my mind if it's an addiction.
Yeah. I wonder about that because what I tend to do is I find a way to isolate. And that way I'm sort of in control. I've left, like I'll retreat from people, I'll slip away from a situation if I can, but it always comes back around though. Like if it's a relationship problem and I'm just trying to avoid the person, that doesn't solve it. But I that's comforting to me is if I can just go to my room and close the door or retreat in my office, retreat behind my computer. I find that comforting and I don't have to deal with people.
Absolutely. It's very comforting. I've done the same thing, and I'm struggling to not do it myself now, to isolate, because it's been one of my biggest things. I would call it an addiction for sure. Just wanting to be, like you said, away from everything, thinking stupidly, stupidly thinking that it's going to make things better when it's not.
Yeah,
It
because
just
it
makes it
feels
worse,
good.
actually.
I'm sorry. Yeah, because it
Oh,
feels
you're
good
fine.
in the short term.
Right.
There's an instant payoff. I there's a certain feeling I feel, and I wonder if that's like it's like a hit of a little bit. Oh, I'm speaking like maybe this and that addiction. I feel good. I feel this like I don't know dopamine. I feel
It's
this
a
hit.
dopamine
Like
hit, exactly.
I like lay on my bed and I get my phone and I'm like when I
That's
know
definitely it.
there are other things I really should be doing. I mean, there's a time for that,
Hmm.
but when I'm using it as an escape, there is that initial. It feels good, but then that wears off, and then what?
And relatively quickly, too, usually, in my experience.
Well, I think it comes down to the reason why you're doing it. I mean, you said there's a time and a place for resting.
Hmm.
So laying on your bed with your phone in and of itself is not bad.
Right.
It's the reason you're doing it that could be bad.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is the problem. The dopamine hit to comfort and hide
Hmm.
from stress is the problem. And it's a tricky one for people like us because there's nothing wrong with resting. There's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with
Right.
occasionally isolating. There's nothing wrong with like being by yourself once in a while. It's the frequency of it,
Hmm.
the reason you're doing it so frequently, and the reward you get, which is the dopamine thing.
Hmm.
Right.
That's a reward. That's why you're trying to calm your limbic brain, as Richelle put it, trying to give it something to soothe it so you're not so freaked out by whatever it
Right.
is that's stressing you out. And it's really the stress that's causing the behavior.
Yes.
Yeah. And ironically, excuse me, what I find is though, when I know I should be doing something else, but I'm doing that, any good feeling ends up being undermined.
Yeah.
And I start feeling guilty and I feel like, oh, I really shouldn't be doing this. I'm trying to justify it or,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah. The Tim Fletcher video um highlighted the whole like happiness and pleasure
Yes.
process.
hmm
Because when you do the things you're supposed to do, according to him, when you do the things you're supposed to do that give you pleasure or make you happy, it is a dopamine hit. Like it is.
Yeah.
And that reinforces you to want to do it more. So if you're making healthy connections with people, it should feel good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then that feel good thing is something you want again and again and again. The difference between that and what we're talking about is that we're doing maladaptive things to manage stress instead of doing healthy things to make connections or enhance our lives in some way. And
Yeah.
that's a problem when, for at least for me, it's a problem when I feel like I'm constantly under stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's family life or dojo life or relationships or church or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. It's like
Right.
anything that's stressing me out is a reason to grab a chocolate bar and just scarf down the whole thing by myself or whatever I've
Right.
chosen, and I don't think I don't think any of us are free from addictive tendencies if we are even if we're not actually using a substance. I just think people like us are just prone to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can see where that does apply. So yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
What's something that's I find though that I don't know if empowering is the right word, but knowing that that tendency is there. So I went into work today, and I am an introvert, but I also have a tendency to isolate, and that's not good. I mean, it's bad enough. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being an introvert, but I already have that tendency of just sort of wanting to be alone. Um, and then having the anxiety about connecting with people and just wanting to isolate. So today I was heading into work and I was thinking about how I usually conduct myself, which is sort of say a brief hi and then sort of hide in my office for a while. And I started to think about ways I could potentially connect. And well, part of me is going, no, no, no. You just want to be quiet in your little hole and don't connect. But that other part of me was like, but it always feels so good when I do talk to people, even if I stumble over my mouth, over my words like I do sometimes. But
Yeah.
to have that actual connection with other people, ultimately, I find it more satisfying and I don't have the guilt component of I really ought to, but I'm not, and I'm giving into my. And so I tried it out, sort of like experimenting. So I was looking for an opportunity. I had an idea of what I could talk about. And sure enough, one of the gals brought up that topic. So I got up out of my little hole and I walked over and I started to talk to her. And we had a nice little chat. And then somebody else joined in. And I went back to my desk going, oh, that was cool. And it was healthy.
Yeah.
So that was even better. It's like there's that dopamine that's sort of like a rush, and then there's that sort of satisfying feeling of doing the right thing. And even if, because, we do have PTSD and, complex trauma, it's not going to like, oh, great, I feel great. But there's sort of like a deep down satisfaction of that was the right thing. And I'm glad I did it. And then, like you were saying, Steph, then we want to do it more.
Yeah, I want to do the right thing more, but I keep getting tripped up. Like I can't.
Yeah.
It's so hard. It's so hard to make the changes, and it's going to take a really long time to be in a place where I am able to control when I'm eating enough to lose weight, and that's really the trick here. It's
Yeah.
trying to control my diet enough to lose weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the other things that Tim Fletcher said was that people who have addictive tendencies are willing to subvert their own values.
Mm.
So let's say you value connection, like you're talking about, Evelyn. You value other people, like you want to make friends and make connections, what have you. But your trauma is putting you in a position where you're subverting your own values because you tend to isolate.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know,
that is where I go, automatically.
yeah. So overeating. I'm not convinced it's in the Bible that it's a sin per se. I know people talk about it like one of the 7 deadly sins or
Yeah,
whatever,
gluttony.
but I can be convinced that it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that any behavior where you're putting something in front of God as a way to help yourself can be sin. And I think that's where the guilt feelings come from, when you know that you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But the value is nourishing your body, and I'm frequently subverting that.
Right.
But it's not enough at this point for me to go, I really don't want to do that anymore. Like, I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I can because I've done it before with other addictive tendencies. Things I was doing in the past that were ways to get my dopamine hit. So I know I can do it because I have done it. But this one is harder in some ways
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
food's essential to life.
Yeah.
Yeah. You still have to eat no matter what. You can't just walk away from be like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm done eating now.
I'm going cold turkey on food. Cold turkey on food.
That's funny.
I can't just stop food. Like, I could stop the
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one I can't just stop eating. And who wants to eat bland, good for you food all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. There's no like flip a switch. Okay, I'm there now. I got this.
Yeah.
Bring on the, healthy blah food. Yay.
No, I like food. I mean, it's, I don't know. This whole food thing, as far as like people's attitudes in society today, is so confusing.
Yeah.
I'm overweight for sure, but I'm not an advocate for being overweight. Like, I don't think it's healthy for me. I'll just say I know it's not healthy for me.
Yeah.
I don't like
same
being
here.
like this at all. It gets in the way of a lot of things.
Yeah.
People's attitudes about it are weird. Like, if I talk about being fat, people are like, oh, like, don't talk about it. Oh, don't call yourself fat. But I am fat.
Right.
Yeah.
Weird. It's just so weird to deal with because then I feel like I'm being gaslit about my weight. And then it's like my brain just wants to like, when I look at myself like this, if I just look down, I don't look fat. But when I look in a mirror, I can see it.
Right.
I don't like looking in mirrors. And then I talk to somebody about it and they're like, oh, you're fine. No.
You're like, no, I'm not.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It feels hard to get support for, this whole thing when people have weird attitudes about it.
Yeah, because that sort of attitude then is undercutting what you're trying to do ultimately. And it's not like, you don't want people to deride you because of it. There's a difference between this is reality and, being insulting. I mean, obviously being insulting would be out of place, but
I'm not proud of
minimizing it or trying to tell
No, me
you there again, like you're saying, being gaslit. It's like, well, trying to tell you, no, you're fine as you are, but you're like, but I want to be healthier. I want, like I need to make some changes here. And even if it wasn't visible, I, if there's an underlying cause that needs to be dealt with, as far as your attitude toward food or whatever, minimizing it all doesn't deal with the underlying issue.
It's another. I think it's another form of what we've been talking about, like gaslighting yourself into believing that being overweight is okay and healthy and all of that. I watched a lot of social media on the subject, and I think it's dying off to some degree. This idea that being overweight is okay, body positivity, whatever you want to call it. But it has done a lot of damage, has created a lot of confusion for people. And if anybody of any sort of prominence who's overweight loses weight, they get a lot of hate for that. And
Really? That's
oh yeah,
weird.
there's a singer who recently lost a bunch of weight. She was overweight for a long time. It was formerly a body positivity type person. And then she decided, I think she had a visit with her doctor, and her doctor basically said, you got to lose weight. So she decided to lose the weight. And now she gets a ton of hate for it.
You talking about Lizzo?
Yep. I wasn't going to mention the name, but since you did, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And it happens frequently enough, where people just think, I'm not just talking about weight, it could be true of anything, that people will lie to themselves and lie to other people about different things. Like, it took me at least 2 years. I had to sit and watch and listen to people in the fitness industry who made a lot of sense, who talked about food very differently from how I had heard it in the past, and helped me to rewire my brain in the way I thought about food. I literally had to do that because my brain was so messed up from trauma and from things I had heard and seen over the years. And it took me a long time to finally rewire my brain to believe that, all food is good. Some food's more nutrient dense, some food's less nutrient dense. The only foods that are quote unquote bad are the ones you're allergic to or are rotten or have a sensitivity to. And when I said that to somebody, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. It does sound crazy in our culture. But for myself personally, I had to do that in order to not feel that insane want for sugar. And because my main addiction is sugar, specifically. And it really has helped. I'm not perfect. I definitely have days where I want to binge and say that days I do binge, but it has at least helped me to start to change the way I think about food and have some self-control over it. Not a lot, but some. And not feel that constant like desire for sugar all the time.
Yeah.
And it's that part I blame on our culture. That's the responsibility of people who give out misinformation constantly, who are supposed to be experts in a field. But, we have our own responsibility, of course, too, in getting the right information and figuring out what's true and what's not true and making decisions based on that. But yeah, like I have struggled with addiction of sugar, particularly. I mean, other foods too, but sugar's always been the main one. My entire adult life, for sure. And as a kid too, I was denied food. So therefore, food became my main focus when I was finally free from my parents and able to do whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And for many, many years, I was eating sugar all the time. Had terrible psoriasis and all sorts of other problems. And finally, my hands used to be, you guys know, my hands used to be very, very bad. They're really good now. And that's mostly because I don't eat that much sugar anymore. And it makes me want to cry because the way I felt before and didn't realize how bad I actually felt and how I feel now physically and emotionally are very different. And I wish that I could have that much control over other things, like wanting to escape. That's my other problem. But it's a slow process for sure.
Yeah. Day by day, moment by moment.
Yeah.
Trigger by trigger.
Yeah, literally. Trigger by trigger. That's a great way of putting it, Ev. Trigger by trigger, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But the triggers, that's the cost of PTSD, is getting triggered.
Yeah.
And, I think we all know what that's like.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Go ahead, Evelyn.
I was thinking, realizing, first of all, you know, it takes a while to learn these things. But I remember first hearing the idea of being triggered, and I thought, "Huh, that's interesting that that happens to people." And what I didn't realize was that when something would happen, and I would feel very upset. Maybe I didn't know why, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to function anyway, and I get this weird fog going on and weird disconnect, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought there was something wrong with my brain, or like I don't know what's going on. But once you
Yeah.
realize, oh, I think in talking to you guys, and watching some videos and stuff, it's like, oh, there's a name for that. It's being triggered. Oh, well, now what do I do when I'm in it? Because a lot of times I was just so used to just going into these weird, emotional states,
Mm-hmm.
and
I think we
I
could call
didn't,
it
yeah,
altered states of consciousness.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So, and
that's true.
realizing, oh, being triggered isn't something out there that other people experience. This is what's happening. I'm being triggered. And then to
Yeah.
get curious, why, what's going on, and trying to develop self awareness. I feel like that's one of my biggest things right now. Instead of just going into this altered state and causing damage and then coming out of
Mm-hmm.
it and then realizing, oh, I was triggered. Then I did a lot of pain, hurtful things to people, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and to really, I think a lot of it for me has been sort of, I'm tired of hurting people with the way I act to my triggers. You know, I think for me, I've come to a place where I'm going to call it desperation because that's what it feels like, but in a really good way. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Now, what can I do? What can I learn so that I'm not just going back later and cleaning up the damage? Because I've lost relationships because of it. I've, caused strain on relationships. I've made the toxic shame of now you just need to go hide because, see, you're bad and you're hurting people. That's not dealing with it either. But being able to recognize it and go, okay, I'm being triggered. What should I do? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I'm in like preschool on this. I'm
Yeah,
learning
me
how to
too.
hold a pencil, you know. And I
Yeah, me
thought,
too.
I could write essays, but no, I'm learning how to hold a pencil, and I keep dropping
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But
Totally relatable.
but there again, it's sort of like when I did push myself to go connect with my coworkers, and it went pretty well. I thought, well, there's a learning curve on this too. And instead of getting upset or berating myself or freaking out, what if I could just really work more and more on being more and more aware?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and so, I mean,
that's going to take time
yeah.
and practice, lots of time and practice to get better at.
Yeah.
Like, I sent an email, a couple of emails out that are kind of important,
Mhm.
and I haven't heard back from either person.
Hmm.
And my brain is like, they hate you, they're mad at you, they're going to kick you out,
Yes,
So
right?
relatable too.
relatable.
And then I'm like, okay, well, sometimes they haven't answered right away before. It
Yeah.
could take a
Yeah.
couple of days. Um, you're going to see one of the people on Friday or
Hmm.
Thursday night, rather, not Friday. Um, you know, now I've gotten a little bit better at handling that kind of stuff without
Mm-hmm.
resorting to whatever
Hmm.
dopamine thing I'm looking for. Um, but it still happens every day, all day. Like,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what the issue is. Something's like driving down the road.
Hmm.
thinking about an email, thinking about a student from the dojo,
Hmm.
Yeah.
money, making
Yeah.
dinner,
All,
getting
Anything.
married,
all the things.
all the things. It's like a never ending supply of triggering, just never
Yes.
ending. And
Yeah. And it's so relatable. I mean, when you were saying about sending out a message, okay, I didn't hear anything yet. Oh, they answered right away. Oh, that was short. Oh, they put a period at the end of that sentence where they're like, you know, or they took 5 minutes. Okay, it's okay. It's probably in the bathroom. Oh, or at work. She
there's
gave me a side eye. Was it a side eye or was she just looking
Oh
at
my
me
gosh.
from an angle, you know? And immediately it's negative. Immediately it's they hate me or I'm in
There's
trouble. They're mad at me. I
yeah.
did it wrong.
There's a I know Stephanie's seen this. I don't know if you've seen this. There's a reel or a TikTok out there of someone talking about how anxious people interpret text messages, and every single one is they're mad at me.
They're mad at me.
They're mad at me. They're mad. It doesn't matter what the response is. They're mad at me.
I
And,
recently had a conversation with somebody I really care about, and I was like, okay, I need to ask this question. For some time now, when I send you a message, you don't respond. What does it mean? And the person's like, well, if it makes you feel better, I do that to a lot of people. It's like,
yeah.
actually, that does help. But then they just said, I just forgot. And I'm like, oh,
Thank goodness.
the relationship isn't ending. I thought it was coming to an end.
Yeah. And I mean, we
Yeah.
joke about it, but the feelings can be so intense.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, I deal with a lot of toxic shame. So I'm bad. You know, I'm trying to recover from that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you're in a support group. Hi, I'm Evelyn. You know, I have toxic shame. Hi, Evelyn. You know,
Yeah.
um, and to also realize,
Wait,
okay,
what
huh?
if somebody said in that group, do you have toxic shame or are you just bad?
Hey, now I'm feeling a
Wait
little
a minute.
triggered
Wait a
now.
minute. Am I in the wrong group? What? Get me out of here. I just got triggered.
I think I'm in the Insults Anonymous.
Insults Anonymous. That's funny.
That would be like my worst nightmare. I go to the not good enough support group and somebody's like, are you sure you're good enough to be here? And I'm like, oh no, run away.
Oh man,
I'm
that's
definitely
so
in the wrong place now.
triggering.
I'm triggered.
But
How
that
dare you trigger me?
that's
Oh
why,
my.
you know, I think realizing that it's a thing. Like I had never even heard of toxic shame,
Oh,
but when I
good.
did start to hear about it,
Mm-hmm.
and we keep mentioning Tim Fletcher, really highly recommend if you
Well,
have any struggle with
we'll
that, you know.
link his video in our
Yes.
description, the one we're
But
talking about.
so he starts giving like if you do this when this happens, then and I'm like, exactly. Then he does another one. Exactly. Okay, maybe that not that one as much. No, actually, yeah. Exactly, you know. And even though it's painful, it's
Mm-hmm.
tough and I hate it, at least I know what's true.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
feel that, like when I feel that at work, I am the only part-timer that is in the marketing department and you know, I hadn't been in the working world for 20 some years and now I'm heading in, you know, and all these people who have been in there for so many years. And my immediate thought is, I don't belong here. I'm not really one of them. I'm not good enough. I won't be good enough. And those were just playing in the background all the time. It's just normal.
Yeah.
But when he identified it, you're saying that that's an identity thing, that you're not good enough, that you don't belong, that you're not equal. And I was like, yeah, yeah, it has a name. And I don't have to just let those tapes play in my head. I can go, well, wait a minute, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
But tell you what, over 50 years of those tapes playing, it's going to take a long time to, you know,
Yeah,
Cool
but
that, but
there, last week, or no, last week was different. The week before last week was an extremely stressful week for me
mm-hmm.
emotionally, because it seemed like I had it doesn't seem like I had jury duty.
Yes.
First of all, thankfully I got let go because I had a vacation planned the next week and I had a bunch of stuff scheduled that week that I didn't want to miss.
Yeah.
Not that I'm opposed to doing jury duty. It's just this time I didn't want to. Anyway, so driving into the city for that, stressful.
Mm-hmm.
It's 30 minutes of
Yeah.
40 minutes of stress.
Right.
And then I get home and these two conversations are happening almost at the same time that are sort of stressing me out. And they were kind of life-changing conversations in a way.
Hmm.
And I got really upset. And I was like wanting to run and hide away. I did not much all week until I had a conversation with an important person, one of the important people. We had a conversation, which was actually really good.
Hmm.
But all week long, I told my therapist today, I said, I actually didn't binge that much that week, which surprised me because there had been other stressful weeks recently where I'm just at whatever I can find.
Mm-hmm.
Desperate. I'm desperate when I've got a bag of chocolate chips out
Yeah.
because that's all I can find. I'm
Yeah.
just eating chocolate chips straight out of the bag, and they're not that good.
Yeah.
They're not even that
Not
good.
the finest
They're terrible
chocolate out
chocolate
there.
chips.
I will say dark chocolate chips are actually pretty good just to eat, but the semi-sweet, not so much.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I really didn't find myself binging that much that week, 2 weeks ago. That was extremely stressful week for me, which surprised me because that was the kind of stress that would make me want to binge. Which tells me, because I have been working on this binging thing for some time, like I don't know, 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
But I'm getting more serious about the emotional reasons why I'm eating, and I'm getting really into, why I turn to food and whatever I got to do for that to help myself not go there. I'm not quite sure yet, but that the fact that I didn't binge as much as I normally would was a good sign to me.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, a little bit of triumph, I guess you could say, because it's definitely not gone.
Right.
I mean, the other two addictive behaviors, they aren't gone. I don't do them anymore, but they're not gone.
Yeah.
Right.
If I'm stressed out, my mind will go over all three. I tell myself no on 2 of them, but the third one, the food, I don't as much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I am able to control it at times because I have been working on it for 3 to 4 years or longer. Yeah. But the more intense work has been the 3 to 4 years time frame.
Yeah.
So, there is hope, I feel like, for changing behaviors over time.
Definitely.
If you are consistent with it, if you're persistent with it and you don't give up, you can start to change the percentages, as I like to call it. It's like a meter.
Yeah.
With, either side being 100% good, 100% bad, or whatever you want to call it. Percentages are more in favor of bad than they are of good at the moment, but I expect that'll change to more good and less bad.
Yeah.
I may not ever, I may not ever fully stop binging. Or I may, I don't know. I might be able to get to a place where I'm just like, no. But I don't expect that to be soon.
I really like the idea of percentages as a way to measure progress. I think that gives hope to, because I know for myself, I struggle with, we all struggle with perfectionism and an all or nothing mentality. And I think that's very typical of trauma. But yeah, like the things I struggle with in terms of like I've been trying to deliberately not isolate lately, and I think I made a little bit of effort in that. But it still feels like it's more to the isolating and less to the being more social and more around people. But I'm trying to turn that tide, and it's really tough. But I like the idea of percentages because I could say like maybe like 30-70 right now. And I may not outwardly express my want to, or might still be around people even if I'm really strongly feeling like I want to isolate. Because I'm thinking about how it feels as opposed to what I'm actually doing. In some, not in all instances, but in some. Sometimes I do give in and just isolate. But it's that ongoing feeling of like you were saying, of like relief, dopamine. That's what I miss. But it also brings on those feelings of like I should be with my family. I should be doing this. I should, that's what I think about. Like, do I want to satisfy my limbic brain temporarily, or do I want to do something that's gonna, let people know I care about them and actually be social, and it actually does feel good.
Yeah.
So,
and I think I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm trying to systematically the way have been trying to change my brain about food. I'm trying to change my brain in the same way with this idea as well of trying to not be so isolating all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think knowing ourselves, where our weaknesses lie, we can also, something that I've been trying to work on is make a plan. Like I did this morning of, okay, so what are some things I could talk to my coworkers about? And then I was tempted though. I heard the conversation start and I was like, oh, but I need to check an email. I'm like, no, you don't. Just go out there. Go out there. Get out there, But if I didn't make a plan or wasn't thinking about it ahead of time, I think being intentional, aware and intentional, and then celebrating when it does go well.
Definitely.
Even the tiniest thing, Steph, when you were talking about, and that you would call that a win, when you were seeing the progress. I was able to go back to my desk. Now, did I fumble a little bit? Oh yeah, I stumble over my words. So reason why I don't like to talk to people sometimes. I feel very self-conscious, but they don't seem to care. And during it, I didn't really feel good standing there because inside of me, I still wanted to, let's see how soon I can slip back, So it's not that it's necessarily fun, even though you're doing the good thing. But then later on, you reflect on the day and go, yeah, I can chalk that up into the win category. And even if it's one little thing, it still counts. I think we have a tendency to magnify the negative.
And that gives hope to the low hum thing we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Is the idea, it's always there, but we can do things to lessen the effect, to lessen that. And sometimes it's very loud. And I think that gives me hope. It gives, I'm sure it gives other people hope that you have complex trauma, trauma, you can make that low hum be lower or less, be quieter, I guess.
And introduce some music in there. Introduce something good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something healthy, something good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think we've pretty much wrapped up our conversation. It's been about an hour. So if we feel good about it, we'll just end it here.
Yeah, I think
sounds good to me.
We did a good job.
I think we could talk for hours, but I think this is a good stopping place.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Well, y'all have a good day or night or
whatever.
Middle of the night. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm Stephanie Dunham.
I'm Evelyn Mason.
I'm Richelle Knapp.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks so much for joining us as we discussed such an important topic. We hope you got some food for thought and encouragement to keep going and keep growing. See you later, Bear Club.